Alright, so I'm finally back in the shop getting some things done. I had a little mishap yesterday. So, back from a little vacation, we finally surpassed 400 subscribers. So that is really awesome. Thank you guys rock. So, went on a little vacation down to Kalahari Water Resort in the Poconos in PA. Had a blast, a lot of fun. So I get back here, I'm really excited to get a print going, get my stuff, get the next cast going. So I spent, 4 hours or so getting some files ready, trying to get, a bunch of stuff on my build plate so I can print a whole bunch of stuff and, really test my new casting stuff to make sure everything is as good as it seems. So I get all the files ready. I have a ton of files on the SD card, the little flash drive I use, and that's no good. So I get the file ready, get it all sliced, get it on the USB thing, and there's some things going on in my life that was causing me some stress. So I was trying to forget about it, just trying to move on and get some things done. So I think that's what, made me kind of rush things and mess up. But anyways, I come out, I start the print. I heated up my resin, got it all hot, preheated the tent, got all that going. And I don't know where I messed up with it, but so I get the print going. We'll start with that. So I get the print going. It's going really good, amazing. I did make some changes to the settings, lowered my anti-aliasing, and what else did I change? I changed something else, but anyways, that was like the big thing. Oh, and I changed my scaling. I went onto the Soraya Tech website, and they said all of their prints using those resins, both the purple and the blue, shrink at 6%. So I upscaled all my prints 6% to make sure that I was also going to take some measurements after they're done being cast to see if they're actually shrinking by 6%, and if they're not, then I'm going to see if I can figure out what mine are shrinking by and see if it's a consistent shrink before I switch to and try out some other resin. But anyways, the print's going good. It was going really good. I was pretty happy. And 6-7 hours go by, print's done. So I'm pulling them out. They're looking really good. And I'm like, where are my other prints? They're just not on the build plate. Come to find out, I named the file, which was large group B 3.0, because, I was doing large groups. I happened to have named my file the same as my last file. So there was 2 large groups. So, big lesson to be learned there on my part is I'm going to delete everything off of the flash drive that plugs into it, besides the file that I'm printing, because I don't need all the other files on there. There's probably like 30 other files on there from all my other prints. Don't need all those. They were no good in the past. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing now, is deleting everything off my SD card, besides the file that I'm printing, because it only takes me a second to throw the file on the card and get it going. So yeah, that happened. And I didn't even realize until I'm cleaning up the prints after I popped them off the build plate, and I'm like I didn't print these. A couple of the pieces on there were the same as last time, but I've made so many changes to everything since then, they don't even look the same. So I realized that, and then I'm frustrated, but at the same time I was like, what, I'll try and salvage them, see if I could still cast them, see if I can get them to come out good, finish them up, set some gems in them, and see if I can get them to come out good. But that print happened to be one before I was modifying all my supports. Now I try to use, what I do is I'll do auto supports, auto generated supports, and then I'll go in and delete all the ones that I don't need and then move them around, which I don't know why I just don't create my own supports, but I end up moving everything around and using the least amount of supports that I think will work. Because, you know, the auto-generated just blasts it full of supports, and I don't think you need that many. I haven't had any failed prints due to supports. Usually it's been due to other problems, you know, a bunch of other problems I had. But anyways, I was cleaning up them prints, and there was so many supports on them, just trying to break them off. I didn't realize how bad these prints were when I first started out. You know, granted, I've only printed probably, 15 prints total. But still, how much I've learned from then to now is insane. I don't even look at things the same way as I did when I first started. So, this was a big game changer for me. And, I think it was. All of you might not think it is. But, I think it's a pretty big thing. These little mess ups, end up teaching me big lessons. Somebody may not think of it as a big thing, but for me, I think, now I have some resin down the drain, and I was pretty hyped up for that print. I was really excited. I was about to get the cast done today, but, that being thrown off, I spent, 4 or 5 hours, adjusting everything, getting everything just right. I saved the file, so it's all still good. It's on the computer. But, that was time that I had set aside to get that print finished, to be able to, build the tree and cast and do everything else today. And people don't realize how much time this takes. I mean, you guys might, but other people that are watching this that don't do this kind of stuff, they don't realize, it takes, 6 hours to print stuff, depending on the height. If I laid everything out super flat, it might not print right, but I could probably get stuff done in an hour or two. I'm gonna be switching to the Monocure 3D. They got some really cool stuff that I want to try out soon, but and the print times are way shorter. But anyways, the print ends up being between 3 to 6, 7 hours for mine, and so you have that 6, 7 hours that you're printing. Then you have an hour or two of cleanup, then an hour of cure, then you have to pull them out of cure, then you have to sprue them up, which for me is another hour. Then you have to weigh the tree, weigh the metal, invest, which takes another half hour, 40 minutes. Then you have to spend an hour and a half waiting for that to cure. Then you have to spend another 6, 7 hours for the burnout, and then you have to cast. Then you quench the flask, get it out of there, and all that stuff ends up being, 20 hours or so. It's a lot of hours. And for me to lose one whole day, it was a setback. At least I learned something now. So that's the way I try to look at everything. I try to move forward from my mistakes and try to not let it happen again. I think I'm pretty good at that. So, I'll just take it as a learning lesson. I messed up. I won't let it happen again. I think it's pretty funny, the fact that I named the file the same thing as that I did in the past. I'm trying to switch it up each time, so it's that one I named large group, the last one I named group v 2.0, so it's not exactly the same, but I actually named it the same as the other one, which was kind of weird because I was looking through it and there was 2, and I was in a hurry. So my naming thing, the way I name things is so basic, and it's pretty funny. But anyways, that's what happened. I would have had, more stuff going on, but it was a little setback. Gotta move on from that. Anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up there. I just want to give you guys a heads up, telling you what's going on, why I messed up. and I think it's pretty funny. It's a big learning lesson for me. And, you know, I don't know if you guys would think that's very important, you know, keeping all the old prints on your storage for your printer. You know, I do it with my other printer too, which I should never do. There's, you know, all them old files. You know, clicking on one of them old files, that's no good. You know, that's a lot of time down the drain. Anyways, you know, I appreciate you all. You guys are awesome. If you enjoy the content, hit subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.